Benedict Arnold burst onto the revolutionary scene in May of 1775. He came from an old and established coastal New England family and had been an apothecary, merchant captain, and trader in Connecticut. Yet despite these successes, he still remained somewhat outside of the colonial elite of New England society. The Revolutionary War offered him an opportunity to cement his name. He, along with others, helped to form the second company of the Governor's Foot Guard in New Haven in December of 1774, and like many Connecticut men, eagerly marched to the siege lines outside Boston in the days after news arrived of the fighting at Lexington and Concord.
Unlike Ethan Allen, Arnold did not bring many men to the capture of Fort Ticonderoga, but he did bring valuable legitimacy in the form of his official commission from the popular government of Massachusetts. While more men recruited under his authority arrived at Ticonderoga following the capture, Arnold's continued demands to assume control of the garrison irritated Allen, James Easton, Edward Mott, and others from Connecticut's expedition. While Arnold communicated regularly with officials in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Congress, his antagonist's version of events had gotten to those bodies beforehand, often discounting Arnold's role and, in his view, intended to defame him. Facing a force of Green Mountain Boys that did not wish to serve under him, Arnold took the war to the British as more of his recruits arrived, raiding St. John and securing the naval vessels on Lake Champlain barely a week after capturing Ticonderoga. Largely based at Crown Point, he excavated the ruins for cannon and shot, prepared ships and boats, laid out fortifications, and began the movement of captured artillery south to Fort George. In addition, he reported on agents sent to test the sentiments of Canadians and native peoples, scouted enemy positions to the north, anticipated the materiel needs of the growing forces, and even regulated the prices charged by merchants eager to capitalize on the concentration of soldiers in the region. Still, the issue of command was unresolved, with Arnold in charge of forces at Crown Point and on Lake Champlain. The ever-dwindling Green Mountain Boys stayed largely at Ticonderoga until Colonel Benjamin Hinman's Connecticut Regiment replaced them in mid-June, arriving in response to an alarm raised by Arnold in late May. Despite having emphasized that he would gladly relinquish command once a replacement arrived, Arnold continued to dispute the legality of his authority with Ethan Allen, James Easton, Colonel Hinman, and his officers. This culminated in a physical altercation with James Easton, who he struck in the head and, as Arnold recalled, kicked him very heartily after insulting Arnold during discussions with Major Samuel Elmore of Connecticut. But the arrival of Hinman's regiment had more pointedly forced the question of overall command. With the war escalating, the Massachusetts Provincial Congress appointed a committee of 3 to assess the colony's commitments in the Champlain Valley, settle accounts, and isolate Arnold's role. This committee arrived on June 22nd. As they assessed the situation and informed Arnold that he would have to serve under Colonel Hinman, Arnold resigned his commission and determined to leave. Not before his men, angry at not having been paid, but not wishing Arnold any ill will personally, locked him in his cabin and attempted to pursue the departing Massachusetts commissioners to get compensation.
As Arnold's command was ending, his wife, Margaret Mansfield Arnold, died in their home in New Haven on June 19th. This left Arnold with a personal wound, but a professional opening that culminated with his attempts to open another front in the American invasion of Quebec, launched that fall through the wilderness of northern Maine.